evening, everyone. Welcome to the August 17, 2020 Strategic Planning Meeting. First things first, Ms. Secretary, roll call. Note that Councilman Robert and Councilman Lambert are absent. You have myself, Mr. Ogeron, Mr. Cagnolati. We move on to the invocation. That's item number 2. I'll go ahead and lead us tonight. Heavenly Father, we pray for your help in our decisions tonight and lead us in a way that we can make the right decisions on the agenda items at hand with the joy and enthusiasm, and that we continue to serve the best we know how. Amen. I'll go ahead and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, well, item number 3, chairs additions. There are no chairs additions tonight. And we will go ahead to item number 4, open up public comment, which will be open until 6:15. So at 6:15, we will, after our public comment period has closed, we will continue the meeting.
I will read the agenda items and then we'll go into public comment.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You're at 5A, approval of July 6, 2020 strategic planning minutes. 5B, discussion and approval of proposed changes to the Uldc Appendix 4 Subdivision Regulations, Section 17-4032 Street Requirements. 5C, discussion and approval of proposed changes to the Uldc Appendix 4 Subdivision Regulations, Section 17-405 Preliminary Plat. 5D, discussion and approval of proposed revision to the Uldc Appendix 4 Subdivision Regulations, Section 17-40100 definitions to add commencement of construction.
Thank you, Jessica. I got 6:15. Do we have any public comment?
No, sir, no public comments.
Okay. With that being said, we'll go ahead and move on to item 5A, which is to I'm sorry, my computer just kind of froze up on me. Moving on to item 5A, approval of our July 6, 2020 strategic planning minutes.
Motion to approve. Second.
Did you hear my second?
Can you hear me?
Motion to approve.
Yeah.
Right, okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. No objection. Item 5A will approve. We'll move on to item 5B, discussion and approval of proposed changes to Uldc Appendix 4 Subdivision Regulations, 17-4032 street requirements. And let's see. I got my laptop off to the side. Sorry if y'all see me looking away. I'm just trying to keep up with my laptop. What this proposal right here is to increase the road width in our Uwdc and subdivision regulations. The road on which a minor major subdivision can be developed on. Our current standard is 18 foot. This proposal is that we push it to 20-foot edge of pavement to edge of pavement. And just at last month's council meeting, we added the language on how we would determine that average width, and our planning staff would do that by measuring every 50 foot. And then we would take that average going to it. I actually did a small little presentation a couple weeks ago. I reached out to Mr. Challenge, the school board, and Fire Chief James LeBon, and they were kind enough to loan me a few of their personnel, a few bus drivers, and a fire truck. And so what I did is I just added. We went to the entrance of Galvez Primary School on Henderson Bayou. Galvez Primary sits on a 20-foot road. Henderson Bayou. It's actually wider. It's 22 foot, but stripe to stripe. Henderson Bayou measures 20 foot, and so we used the entrance and the exit of the school that measured 18 foot to just compare our school buses, fire trucks, and also have some information on ambulances and garbage trucks, things like that. Just and spoke to a bunch of bus drivers, reached out to old teachers and friends I have, and just to kind of get some of their comment and whatnot. Yeah, Mr. Adjourn.
Chair, I want to just make sure, is this the same proposal that was brought before this committee a couple of months back, widening from 18 to 20 feet?
And yes, in May, I believe it was.
May, I believe, something like that. I remember back then it did not receive a second. And I know that I made comments then as to whether or not we were, that it's something that, if it's safety oriented, we definitely want to consider. Have we gone to any of these engineering firms that we retain, these traffic engineering experts, and gotten them to provide us any paperwork, anything that we can justify making this move? Am I frozen or is everyone frozen?
We still hear you. I think Chase just dropped out.
I think Chase dropped out.
We just lost Chase? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to ask that mean of a question.
hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Welcome back.
Kick back. Yeah, you're back. I can hear you.
So I'll put,
Let me ask that again, because I'm not
the
sure
other
what
app, just
point.
my app, like it closed out on me. It went back to the home screen on my iPad. I apologize about that.
Oh, we don't blame you for technology, brother. Don't ever blame me for it.
Yeah.
The question I asked is, back when we heard this motion the first time, I brought up bringing this before any of these number of traffic engineering firms that we retain to get them to give us an analysis on this for litigation purposes, so that we're hanging our hats on something that's solid. Do we know if the administration or if the planning has done anything to that nature to try to justify making this move through the use of engineers?
No, not that I'm aware of. I put this little presentation together myself. I reached out to resources I had for visuals and everything. Personally, I don't feel that we need an engineer to tell us that two 9'8" vehicles on an 18-foot road is not safe and everything. That's why I did the presentation. Ms. Roseron, would you mind? I'm gonna go ahead and I'll go through the presentation and we can get that out the way. And after that, we can resume discussion if that's okay with you.
That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so up on the screen right here, just just a little quick sum I threw together, and I'll have I'm assuming that's going to be Mr. John. He'll just scroll through. If you don't mind going to the next slide, please. All right, so after consulting with over a dozen school bus drivers parish-wide, there's a growing concern over the risk taken when two school buses pass one another. This is common on many state and parish roads that serve as a majority of all boundary lines for schools where residents on opposite sides of the roads actually attend different schools. Next slide, please. So what we got right here is the exit of the Galvez Primary School. It's kind of hard to tell with the shadow, but if you look to your right, just above the E on the tire, you'll see like a break in the asphalt is where they kind of added on. And so what we did is we got these two buses and we staged them and we measured 18 foot to the outside of the tires on the bus. You know, so if we got 18-foot road on the edge of those tires, that is where we measured to. And we got some pictures here. If you can go on to the next slide there, Mr. John. Yeah, we got a little drone pictures and videos here, compliments of Mr. Ricky Compton and his drone footage. And we can see on the 18-foot outside of the wheels that the mirrors overlap on the bus, and unless one of them stops and kind of pulls off of that asphalt, if they're going down the road, they would collide with each other. All right, right here, 18-foot outside to outside, and you can see that just a 16-inch gap between the actual sides of the bus and not the mirrors that stick out past. Let's see, continue to the next slide, please. All right, and here I just got, this is, a bunch of different views with the buses right here. And this is all 18 foot to the outside of the tires. This compliments of a firefighter and a school bus driver right there holding out the tape measures for us. Go to the next slide, please. Emergency vehicle concerns. After speaking with the school district and its employees at the urging, the range was expanded to include emergency vehicles, and the reason a fire truck with its mirrors is actually a little bit wider than our school buses. To help with understanding their concerns, we were able to demonstrate the hazards and unsafe mitigation that has to occur when a school bus and a fire truck cross each other. You don't mind going, there we go. So right here, somebody join us, Mr. Joel, can you please put you on mute? Okay, there we go. Mr. Robert's joined us. Okay, and so right here we have the fire truck and the school bus measured 18 foot to outside of their tires on the road, and these are actually a little bit closer than the two school buses where the fire truck's a little bit wider. And so if these two vehicles were traveling down the road 20, 30, 50 miles an hour coming towards each other, it would be a little circumstance for them. Next slide, please. And here we just got some more pictures. There's a 14-inch gap in between them, and there's an 8-inch gap in between the mirror and the bus on that fire truck side. So once those mirrors would actually clear each other, they would only still have about 8 inches of clearance between the mirror and that school bus. All right, I think they got one or two more, or a couple more slides. Go to the next one, please. All right, let's see. This demonstration was completed at the entrance of Galvez Primary School. And so the school is actually located on Henderson Bayou Road, which is it's 20 foot wide, stripe to stripe. It's actually 21, 22 foot wide. And so right here, we got the tires on both vehicles pressed up against the white line that measured exactly 20 foot. And you can see that greater distance in between our bus and our fire truck right there, the clearance that they have to safely pass one another. Unable to obtain larger vehicles to demonstrate, I provided just a little bit more information on other vehicles that incurred dangerous scenarios by increasing the capacity on subpar roads with larger developments. Ambulance. So I pulled this. I went online. So this is manufacturer for a lot of ambulance I see around here. Braun ambulance manufacturer, and I just went on there and I pulled up some specs on there. And their ambulance measures 98 inches. That's 8'2", outside of the cab to outside of the cab. That doesn't account for the mirrors. You add 8 inches for the mirror, and the ambulance is 8'10" wide. And this is from their manual as well. You can see in that top left corner where I got that red line, it says the overall width with the rub rails and the fenderettes is 98 inches. And then you can see that the mirrors actually protrude a little bit further than that, much like a bus or fire truck. Here's the garbage truck. I reached out to Mr. Dale Hidalgo, and he gave me some dimensions and information on his truck, so I pulled this up. And so the width of the garbage trucks that have the hydraulic arm on them that lift up the cans over the top, they're 8'5" wide, not including the mirrors. And you can see 101 inches, and then you can see that those mirrors stick out actually further than the cab does as well. I think that might be it on my little presentation there. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm happy to open it back up for comment. Mr. Ogeron, you had the floor. Would you like it back? Oh, we lost Mr. Ogeron. Let's see. Mr. Robert, go ahead.
My apologies for my tardiness. I was having a little problems with my iPad, but I did not catch if you had mentioned anything about Amazon trucks or FedEx trucks. Did you bring? Okay, well, that's an issue that I've been having inside of my district here recently. I've made a few calls into the administration about it. And what's going on is Amazon and these delivery services are telling the bigger box trucks to pull over on the side of the road rather than pulling into the driveways. Well, that's all fine and good whenever it's a neighborhood road or a road where it's not 55 miles an hour. That's where I've been having issues on state highways. But we have to take that into consideration for these neighborhood roads. So you have these trucks that is their policy, and on the neighborhood roads they'll be able to do that. So that's also something out there I'd like to consider. So I like the idea of having the extra space between there. I mean, you have mail trucks, you have school buses, all of that. So, thank you.
And I would like to add, so Councilman Cagnalotti and I, we spoke this evening, and he kind of mentioned that in the past this was probably sent to the full council for like a full discussion there, and that's something I'm open to as well. Of course, like I would prefer to have more opinions, more voices, and everything. And something else that I would like to explore is, okay, let's say that somebody is proposing something, and let's say this road averages 19 foot or 19'6", and so my intention is not to have a single individual person come and tear up and overlay a whole road. If we have enough shoulder, if there's room right there, let them come in there and add 12, 18, 20 inches of asphalt down the side to where if these two large vehicles are coming, they have asphalt right there. I've seen options, such as the as a little dive off every 200 foot. It's kind of like a little landing right there, but just something to where we can get these larger vehicles with kids and safety and emergency vehicles to where they can safely pass one another. And I am just going I'm sorry, my dogs are locked out. I know y'all hear them barking. Everybody in the house is trying to find me. And I did go online and I pulled up some stuff, and this is just recommendations from the National Firefighting Code when it comes to their apparatus. In this manual, number 29-24-2 or whatever. So on their defined access point, it's recommended to get their trucks, all routes must be at least 20 foot wide with a route access exceeds 100 foot, and approved 100 foot cul-de-sac turnaround needs to be provided for them to be able to turn around without three-pointing. And a fire apparatus vehicle shall not access a road less than 20 feet unless it is the sole vehicle.
I'll make a motion to move this to the full council.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a motion to move it to the full council.
All right, we got a motion. Is there any other discussion? No, nobody. Is there a second to the motion to send this to the full council? Okay. Motion dies by lack of a second. All right, let's see. Give me 1 second. Let me pull my agenda back up. Okay, moving on to item 5C. Discussion and approval of proposed changes to Uwdc, Appendix 4, Subdivision Regulations, Section 17-405, preliminary plat. So this is, let me see. I'm sorry, my laptop isn't exactly killing right here. So they, let me see, this came from planning through the administration. And this is changing the language on the timeline for construction plans once a preliminary plat has been approved. I believe we have Mr. Drone here. Mr. Drone, the floor is yours.
Mr. Chairman, this item was brought before the Planning Commission in March and was approved. This particular item and the following one kind of reflect back on some issues that the Planning Commission had with projects, preliminary plats that were approved that just fell idle for a number of months or years in some cases, and nothing was done with them. So basically what we did was change this language to state that if nothing's been done with the project, no construction, nothing of this sort, the preliminary plat has been revoked, all right? So you can read that language in this particular item. The next one will describe how we define beginning with construction. So those two items, as I said, went before the Planning Commission in March. They were passed, and so we're here tonight. Okay, so I'm available to answer any questions.
Yes, Mr. Robert.
What is the timeline, did you say, for it to become inactive or not doing any type of work?
But it basically states in here that if no construction is begun within 24 months following the approval of the construction documents for the parish, any preliminary plat construction document approval shall be automatically rescinded, right? So they have 24 months to start construction. After the.
What about the people that currently do not have or have not done such, and it's been 24 months? Will they have 24 months from the time this ordinance is passed, the way it's written?
Well, the ordinance isn't in effect right now.
No, I know that, but I'm saying when it becomes in effect, let's say so-and-so had a permit out from 2017.
Okay.
Okay. So this ordinance goes through and passes months down the road. Now, when it passes, does everyone who had those, if they come to you or they do, is there something they can do to go ahead and continue the work and have that 24 months to meet those guidelines?
Councilman Robert, I'm gonna have to check with legal counsel on as to what's gonna be the trigger on this once it's passed. I don't have an answer to that one right now.
And that's my main concern, that we could do something for those, because I'm seeing the same issue with the fill ordinance, in the sense of the people that didn't know about it, we need to have some type of grace period.
Right, okay. I can guarantee you there are very few that are in this position right now, but it's something we wanted to correct because we had one project in particular that kind of fell through the cracks of us. So I will check with legal counsel and I can get back to you, all right?
Any other questions from Mr. Drone? Okay, Chair would entertain a motion to move this forward to the council. No motion? All right.
I'll make a motion to move it to the next meeting for strategic planning once we get an answer from the attorney on my question. I feel like it's going to be
Councilman Robert moves this to September strategic.
Would that give you enough time, Jerome?
Sure.
All right, Mr. Robert with a motion, and we do not have a second.
This
motion dies for lack of a second. All right, let's see. Moving on to item 5D. Discussion and approval for proposed revision to Uwdc Appendix 4, Subdivision Requirements, Section 17-4100, and we're adding a definition of we're adding the definition commencement of construction right here. So this is, if I understand this right, Ron, this is language that does not even exist, and we're just adding this.
Yes, in the definition section of the Unified Land Development Code, we have several definitions, but this was not in there. We're now putting it in. And this just basically states when we're starting construction, what defines the start of construction, right? And it kind of follows with the previous item that was on the agenda. And
All right,
this measure was approved at the March Planning Commission meeting.
Okay. All right. So I'm trying to think. With the previous agenda item not being moved forward, is this one still relevant?
Well, it is, since the Planning Commission has already approved this.
Okay. All right. At this point, Chair would entertain a motion on item. No motion?
I'll make a motion, but I mean, I don't think anybody's in the second.
Make a motion on
moving it forward to the council.
Are you moving it or?
Sorry? I'll make a motion to move it to the council.
Okay. Councilman Robert makes a motion to move item 5D to the full council. Do I have a second? No second. Okay. Motion dies for lack of a second. And we'll move on to adjourn. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All right. Motion and second.
So it does.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
Please note, the meeting is no longer being recorded. The meeting is about to terminate.